Hey crafty cuties, I'm going to bring you guys along for something a little bit different. I have attempted this before, but I'm going to attempt to make some abstract paintings in the form of kind of pour painting. And if you're not sure what that is, you can totally just look it up on YouTube, find a bunch of fun videos. They are addicting. I'm not going to be using like a typical recipe, so maybe don't follow what I'm following or what I'm using unless you like the outcome, because it's not going to be exactly what you need to use. But I'm just using what I have here today, and I just want to come up with some black and white kind of abstract random paintings for my baby room. So we're going to start with one here. I have my area kind of covered with some plastic and things like that. I will show you what I'm going to use for my first recipe here. So to get started, I'm going to put together kind of the flow recipe, or what I'm going to use to kind of get the paint flowing on my canvases here. So I'm going to just eyeball this. I'm not measuring anything. I have a cup for each color that I want, and I have just a little one here because I'm going to use a little bit of white. I'm going to do black, silver, and white, or it's kind of like a grayish silver. And so I'm going to use some Mod Podge. You can use glue as well if you want to kind of mimic this. And again, I'm just eyeballing this. This is just, again, to kind of get the paint flowing, I guess. It's just fun to experiment. A little bit in that one. And then we're gonna add a little bit of this Martha Stewart marbling medium. I've used it before, and I honestly can't remember if it did anything to give the marbling appearance, but I don't think it's gonna hurt to use it. And I'm just trying to have enough on here so to cover my canvas. So I have more than enough, really. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of this hair oil, and it has an ingredient called dimethicone or something like that. And I think it's kind of like a silicone, and perhaps this will give us some cells, which is like, it will kind of separate the colors from one another. And again, I've done this before, and I could have swore that I got cells using this, so we're gonna use it again. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of water into each one. Just literally a little drop for each, just to make it pretty liquidy here, not too liquidy. There we go. And then you're gonna go ahead and you can mix this up, and then you can actually go ahead and add your colors. So I'm gonna add black into this one, and I probably have to open this up. Gray, silver into this one, and then we're gonna do white just to kind of add more texture to the photo. And since there's so much white going on in here, that probably is going to be somewhat, I guess, diluted in a way. It's not gonna be, I don't think it's gonna end up so black, but I have a silver here, it's a metallic, and then I have a gray. And then, like I said, this one will be white. So even though this looks white now, it's not actually white paint. So we're just gonna mix these up really well, and then we'll be back and we can pour these onto our canvas. I just wanna do one pour, so I'm actually gonna combine all three colors into one cup. And if this all went as planned, then the colors should stay somewhat separated. That's kind of the goal. So we're just gonna eyeball it again. I know I have too much paint here, but I do have two canvases, so I may go ahead and just split this up into two if there is enough paint, but you want a good amount. And again, you guys know I'm not measuring, but you want enough so that it easily flows over your entire surface. So that is staying pretty separated, which is good because that's what I want to go for here. Okay, I really think this is enough, but it's hard to say. I think having more will be better than having not enough. But if we need to, we can add some. Okay, so I had each one mixed up, then we went ahead and did this. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to really quickly flip this over. So I have my canvas on top here and I'm holding it. I'm gonna try to flip this over as fast as I can. And you do want, you know, your surface all protected here. Okay, and then we're gonna pull up and the paint should just flow nicely. So let's go for it. go. Yep, that's more, oh my gosh. Oh well, that's more than enough paint, definitely. So now you can kind of maneuver your painting around to try and get this to spread about, and you can kind of, if you see areas you like, you can try not to mess with them too much, or you can try to move things around that you don't like. I'm going to just do this very carefully because I do want to keep the color separated, and I really like what I am seeing here. If you want to add more of one color, you can do that as well. And this does dry pretty quick, so you definitely want to make sure and get this to fill up your canvas, you know, in a timely manner, because it kind of starts to thicken up, I guess, pretty quickly. So I'm just going to keep going around the edges. I really like how there's some white here in the middle, so I'm going to try and keep that and just make sure not to, you know, make it go off the edge. But I'm actually really happy with this, and I used such an easy recipe that I'm so happy with it. Now here's a little tip that I've seen is if you're wanting to have color like get down here and you're having a hard time with that, you can either take some of your excess paint and like add some, kind of go like this, and that will kind of get it to flowing down because it's dry, so it's not going to flow as easily until there's some more like wet area or whatnot. I was thinking that it was going to be way too much paint. It's not, it's a great amount. So I'm going to actually take my cup and see if I can get a little bit more to come out here just on the edge. And I could definitely get this to flow all the way down, but I kind of don't want to mess with what we have going on here. So I'm just going to continue adding the excess here around the edges. Maybe even a little bit of the white by itself. I have also seen people use a heat gun, which will make the different cells, like the little areas that are standing alone by themselves, more apparent. But I'm not sure if that works with the recipe I used here, but that's something that you could try. And I think I'm almost good here. I'm just going to try to get a little bit more on the corners. And you don't have to cover your entire canvas either. It's okay to have kind of negative spacing if you like that. Okay guys, I'm gonna do one more with you, and I have my paint all mixed up, so we're gonna do this. I added more of the silicone hair product this time. I want to see if that makes a difference, and I added a lot more paint to see if that would make a difference. Okay, this is the fun part, I think, is lifting up. You guys are ready? Let's zoom you in. Okay, let's see what we got. Just gonna do the same thing, kind of moving it around. Trying not to move too much this time because I really want to try to keep some of that separation going. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing a little bit more. I think you guys can see that. So I think that silicone hair product really makes a difference here. Just gonna let it roll off the edge so that we can get it all the way to the edges. Alright guys, here are the final pieces. I really like, this is the first one. I really like the second one a lot. To me it looks like there's some like florally areas. I don't know, I love it. So I'm just gonna let these dry. If I have a chance to show you guys what they look like dry, I will. And I definitely don't want to let all of this paint go to waste, so I got my art journal here, and I'm just gonna kind of smash this down, and we can have a background kind of started for us, and I can use that for something else. So don't let that paint go to waste, guys. I hope that it kind of smushed it quite a bit, but that's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a different type of video for me today, a little bit more into art. Let me know if you've tried the pour painting technique before, and if you have any tips or tricks, I would love to hear that. I'm gonna go clean this mess up, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.